There's something undeniable about the spirit of 70s cinema. Movies from the 1970s are very different from films of the 1980s, let alone from today. It isn't about which decade is the best, but they have a feel all their own. Directors used miniature models, puppets, and effects teams built what they couldn't fake. That creative energy is exactly why so many of these films continue to hold up decades later. Here are 7 standout movies from the 70s that are still worth your time today. Gene Hackman stars as Harry Call, a surveillance expert hired to record a seemingly routine conversation between a couple in a crowded plaza. But as he listens closer, he begins to suspect that what he's captured could lead to something far more sinister. The conversation is a slow-burn thriller built on paranoia, guilt, and the fear of being watched, all of which feel just as relevant today as they did in 1974. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola during the peak of his powers, the film is quiet, methodical, and deeply unsettling. The sound of the film, constructed by the great editor Walter Murch, is crucial to the story and the movie's overall aesthetic. Hackman's performance is one of his best, withdrawn, twitchy, and haunted by a past he can't shake. It's a movie that whispers instead of shouts, but by the time it ends, it leaves a lasting mark. If you've never seen it, now's the time, and if you have, it still rewards another listen. After a strange cosmic event, scientists begin noticing bizarre behavior in ant colonies across the American Southwest. What starts as curiosity quickly turns into obsession as the ants evolve beyond normal intelligence, communicating, organizing, and even manipulating their environment in disturbing ways. 2 researchers set up a remote lab in the desert to study the phenomenon, but soon realize they're not just observing, they're part of the experiment. Phase 4 is a quiet, cerebral sci-fi film that feels more like a haunting nature documentary than a traditional thriller. Directed by legendary graphic designer Saul Bass, in his only feature-length film as a director, the movie is filled with surreal visuals, unsettling close-ups, and an eerie sense of inevitable doom. It's slow, strange, and unlike anything else from the decade. And that's exactly what makes it unforgettable. In The Killing of a Chinese Bookie, a small-time strip club owner named Cosmo Vitelli is pulled into a mob debt and forced to carry out a hit. What sounds like a crime thriller plays more like a slow-burning character study, awkward, intimate, and totally unpredictable. Directed by John Cassavetes, the film is gritty in a way only 70s cinema could be. Long takes, handheld cameras, real locations, and scenes that feel improvised but deeply lived in. It's not for everyone, but for viewers who want something off the beaten path, it's a hypnotic dive into ego, masculinity, and artistic compromise.
But let's let that go. That's too confusing. I confused myself.
Hey, Doc. You're finished. You're finished. You're finished.
Based on a hit country song of the same name, Convoy turns a simple trucking anthem into a full-blown road movie. When a sheriff starts harassing drivers over petty violations, one trucker, known only as Rubber Duck, rallies others into a rolling protest. What starts as a small rebellion grows into a massive convoy that captures national attention. Directed by Sam Peckinpah, it's rough around the edges but full of 70s energy, CB radios, dusty highways, and anti-authority spirit. It's not subtle, but it's undeniably fun. A cinematic time capsule from a very specific American moment. On paper, Barry Lyndon sounds like the kind of film you'd watch in a history class. An 18th century period drama about an ambitious Irishman climbing his way through European aristocracy. But in Stanley Kubrick's hands, it becomes something hypnotic. The film is famous for its natural lighting, including scenes shot entirely by candlelight, a deliberate choice by Kubrick to preserve the look and feel of the era. Just as striking are his slow zooms, which start tight on a moment and gradually pull back until the entire frame resembles a classical painting. Each shot feels composed, sculpted, and deeply intentional. Beneath the beauty is a cold story of ego, social ambition, and quiet collapse. Ryan O'Neal plays Barry not as a hero or a villain, but as a man quietly devoured by the world he tries to join. It's one of Kubrick's most disciplined and quietly devastating films, and it hasn't aged a day. While it's technically a Vietnam War movie, Apocalypse Now is more of a descent into madness. Captain Willard is sent upriver into Cambodia to find and eliminate Colonel Kurtz, a once decorated officer who's gone rogue. But the farther the boat travels, the more surreal and unhinged the world becomes. What begins with military checkpoints and radio chatter turns into a fever dream of chaos, tribalism, and existential dread. Directed by Francis Ford Coppola, the film is famous for its troubled production, and yet the result is haunting. Shot entirely on location with practical effects and real danger behind the scenes, it captures a level of intensity and atmosphere that can't be faked. Even today, it doesn't feel like any other war movie ever made.
Are you an assassin? I'm a soldier.
Ridley Scott's Alien may be over 40 years old, but it still feels razor sharp. A commercial spaceship crew answers a mysterious distress signal and soon finds themselves hunted by something they don't understand, a perfect organism that hides in the shadows. While the tech on the ship looks dated now, blinking lights, chunky monitors, oversized buttons, it only adds to the charm. Built from scrap and filmed on a shoestring budget, the Nostromo feels real, cramped, and lived in. The alien still holds up as one of the most terrifying creatures ever put on screen. It's not just a sci-fi film, it's a masterclass in tension, pacing, and atmosphere.